Yo guys, welcome back to another video, and in today we're going to be talking about the first patch note is in Valorant. So let's just dive right into it. Starting out with gameplay and balance. So they made melee attacks now inflict double the damage per hit to destructibles including Sage's Barrier and Haven's Metal Double Doors. So this is great for Sage's Barrier because Sage's Barrier was super strong during eco and pistol rounds because the pistols wouldn't do enough damage to destroy the wall and it would just completely deny any push. And the same goes for eco rounds. When you have an eco round, you're probably only going to be buying a pistol or so you won't be able to do enough damage to Sage's wall, which will completely shut down any play that you're going to do. Their intention is to add a high risk, high reward method for players to interact with her wall, while being able to take it down no matter their loadout, which I think is amazing. And here we have our first Raze Nerf, which reduced paint shells from 2 to 1. Paint shells now have a kill reset, requiring players to get 2 kills to refresh cooldown. So this is very similar to Phoenix's Fireball, where you have to get 2 kills in order for it to reset, and you're only going to start out with 1. Because her paint shells are probably one of the most OP things that she had. Another great thing they did is they tuned and adjusted audio for paint shells, blast packs, and showstoppers, so it'll be easier to hear it in hectic scenarios. They also fixed an edge case where the secondary cluster of paint shells would explode quicker than intended. They now have a minimum duration before exploding. I think the way they handled the Raze nerf right here is actually really good. Let me know down in the comments down below if you agree. Moving on to Sage, we got slow orbs now also slows the airspeed of players in the zone. Players can now walk through the slow orb without making noise, which is pretty cool. And their reasoning was that players were able to circumvent too much of Sage's slow orb, but bunny hopping through the zone. We want the minimum slow amount to be a bit more consistent with all the movement in the zone, while still allowing for bunny hopping and walking to provide a slight benefit to traversing the zone. Also, we feel adding the stealthy yet slow to move through the field brings more nuances to playing against the zone, and a bit more uncertainty to Sage, since she can't necessarily hear people who move through. So now moving on to map updates, they fixed several exploits on Bind, Haven, and Split, and they also, on Split, they moved the orb from B mid to B main, which is actually very interesting. The reason being their intent is to alleviate some pressure from mid and provide more incentive for players to control B main. They also did some quality of life things like reducing outbound network traffic from clients for players running at high frames per second. Some ISPs and network setups were throttling game traffic, impacting gameplay by causing large spikes in network latency as FPS increased. And no impact to gameplay / responsiveness. So that's pretty nice. And of course, we had some bug fixes as well. They fixed a rare server crash caused by packets occasionally being corrupted by some players' networks. And Cypher Spy Cam that can no longer use weapons, which was an insanely useful exploit, but thank God they patched that because it was crazy OP. Fixed a bug where footsteps audible range would sometimes not appear on the minimap, which is super nice as well. So guys, that's the first patch notes of Valorant. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys like these changes, especially the nerfs on Sage and Raze. And if you guys liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button and the sub button and the notification for new videos. And best of luck in your next game. Peace.